huge apologies to everyone for any handshaking that I've got here. I'm not putting my phone down on something, so this is a video response to your video. I've already forgotten the title, sorry, but it's about as an OSR person, who's more familiar with the class and level-based kind of system design, how do you adapt to skill-centered systems? The first thought I had is the best skill to really kind of play this out and see how it all works is with whatever perception skill the system may have. That's a place where you're really going to see how you want to play with averages, how you want to assume, when you want to make rolls. And one of the things you have to keep in mind is not just the chance of failure, but what's the consequence of failure. Now that might be making a bit of player first or story first intentions, and trimming the edges of a system first intention, which I think, you know, maybe that's something that you would like to do. But you really want to consider, hey, what if no one makes a successful perception roll for this plot information? What do I do? And one of the things with this is to keep in mind that it's not just about success. You can make it about degrees of success. Like if you want to assume that they're going to succeed, then maybe it's a question of how much information you give them right off the bat, and how much they remember, and how much they're going to have to research, or something like that. So you have that area to play in, rather than just simply thinking of successes or failures. Rolling for skills is particularly important, as you already noted, in any system where there is extreme failure or extreme success. That's one of the major reasons why I have people roll otherwise mundane things when I'm playing Rollmaster, because they could get open-ended up or open-ended down. Excuse me. And that's an opportunity, mechanically inserted opportunity for really interesting things to happen. My second thought is about, well, I guess this is actually kind of the third thought now, how to treat zero skill in a topic. I do treat that as a kind of absolute zero for skill. There are people who are amazingly kind of incompetent to a stellar degree in something. I know someone who absolutely can't cook. If it's not a microwave instructions or, you know, preheat the oven and put it in here for 20 minutes kind of thing, they can't do it. They've ruined the most basic things. So they can do sandwiches and they can do microwave oven instructions, and that's it. Now, maybe that's because there isn't a skill-centered game that I'm aware of that makes an exception for this, right? That assumes some amount of passable ability at rank 0, but has an additional stellar incompetence that they can select. In which case I'm thinking, yeah, I might have to put that in that system I'm designing. I've already thought about how it would fit in well. So, skill 0 has a place. But more than that, keep in mind that I think one of the large designs, which maybe you're seeing this, but you're not really kind of thinking it through all the way, is that there isn't this assumption of ability in a skill-based game as compared to, say, an OSR game. But part of that is because they're not going to make any kind of cultural assumptions either. If you're doing something, then you've been trained in it at some point. You didn't actually pick that up, you know, in happenstance, or I mean, you might have that in character in the character's life story. Maybe they did pick it up just casually and not intentionally and on the side, but mechanically, that ate up a resource. That ate up a learning opportunity. That ate up time in their life. So, if you look at Messina's comment on your video about the 4 ninjas and none of them being able to drive a car, yeah, you would assume that anyone in a modern, real world, industrialized country, without also not assuming some of our major metropolitan areas like Chicago or New York, because there are plenty of people in there who have never needed to drive and never been attracted to driving because the roads are so congested. But, you know, if you take a smaller city or out in a rural area, for sure, I mean, I was driving when I was 12, that they've learned how to drive. And you might think, well, yeah, there's some kind of assumption of that, you know, that you would just be able to do that. No, you take some of the points or whatever and spend that on driving. The philosophical difference here that I don't feel like I'm really getting to real succinctly is that your first level or second level character in a skill-centered game may not be as competent in those adventuring tropes as a first or second level character in a class or class or level based system is, because they are actually kind of starting from an earlier place in their life. They're starting from a time where they're still just picking up I'm shaking the camera really hard, sorry. Where they're still picking up the normal, average, everyday things. They're not at a point in their life where they're learning just how to kill things with an axe and a shield, and defend yourself with a shield, and to cast magic missile, and to, you know, turn undead, and how to bless and heal people. That might be some of what they're learning at that point, but it's not taking up all their time yet. It's not taking up what the game is going to mechanically represent as development points, skill slots, whatever. That some of that is still going into, you know, becoming your average everyday citizen. I've had players joke about the specificity and the large size of the Rollmaster skill set, and they joked about it, saying, well, I've got walk sidewalk, but I don't, and I've got walk grass, but I don't have walk sand, so I might trip if I go to a beach. Things like that. Like, those are the kinds of things that are assumed in a skill-based system, right? The really basic things. Because without that, you are truly incompetent in a can't survive at all sort of way. Not just adventuring survival, but, you know, which is like, you kind of talked about, like, yeah, if you're the adventuring mage, sure, you can do these things. You can start a fire and do these things, because otherwise you would have died. The baseline for a skill-centered system is really more, can you survive, period, at all. Those are the things that are assumed. So I hope this wasn't too rambly. Yeah. And hey, everybody who watches this, you know, I appreciate the thumbs up, I appreciate the follows, and I appreciate the comments most of all. If you've got comments about this, post them down below. If you got something specifically for Ivan Mike, head over to his video. The link will be down below. Anyways, see you later.